Welcome everybody to our live stream here on lichess and Twitch. What's up? Friday morning here in Eastern Europe. So we're taking fast Friday challenges, 5+3 through 7+3. Sorry, 5+3 only. My bad. I'm on autopilot. 5+3 only. We'll accept challenges from players with 100 rated games or more. Welcome guys. Good morning. Let's go to the, it's been a while since we had to do this. We're going to go to the lobby. The lobby bar. Puzzle wuzzle. I'm not really a puzzle player. Been doing a few puzzles, sharpen up tactically for my tournament, but not really a puzzle fan, personally. Now let's see. 7+8, 5+3 casual. Damn, it disappeared. Perfect time control, log flume. Gone. 1900. Alright. I'm challenging everybody to 5+3, but it's hard to find the 5+3 in the lobby, so we'll just do it this way for now. Random warm-up game. Yeah, I mean, this is a way to play. I don't really trust this for black, but it's okay. It's an English defense. And I guess normal is to take with the E-pawn. It's possible to take the other way. I haven't really looked at that much. I've played this position with black, but normally with C5, I guess this is a reasonable alternative for black. Black seems to have an obsession with making instantaneous moves for some reason. This is a mistake, possibly. Really what I wanted to play was somebody who just moves instantly without thinking. That's what I really aim for on my stream. So this is the perfect opponent for me. To have no time to think about my moves. Schieberspieler, welcome. That's black's first real mistake, it looks like. Now we have a reasonable Benoni. I don't understand why they're playing Hyper Bullet in a 5-0 game. Princess Chess, welcome. Schieberspieler, welcome. Just a warm-up game against a random victim. Let's try to target that the C5 pawn. I'm not sure this is really a good move. It would have been better to play bishop d2, bishop a5, probably. But we got an advantage somehow. I didn't like the way the opening went. Kind of surprised me there. How does black defend his pawns here? Not easy to say. That's a nice move. That does the job. Wow, very quickly found. Didn't take him long to find queen c8. Very accurate tactically. So he only thinks if he has a bad position. See, this is bad. I mean, I just think that's a bad way to be. I was telling Antoni, who's playing in his first tournament, Don't wait until you have a bad position to start thinking. I mean, maybe that's fine in bullet chess, but it's a very bad place to be in normal, especially when you're playing a strong player. But I don't know why he's seeking 5-0. He put the seek out for 5-0. Why is he seeking 5-0 when he plays hyper bullet? That's weird. All right, guys, welcome. Good morning, Dracofire. Sorry. So, what's the news, Schieberspieler? Now that you have school, no time for chess tournaments? Team championship only? What about the Hungarian team championship? Is everything going to be as scheduled, as far as you know? Is there a schedule yet? Maybe not. I looked on the Hungarian Chess Federation website, Chess.hu. I didn't see anything about the upcoming season yet. I guess they won't be needing my services. My team won't be needing my services for the meaningless last round. I didn't even get a call. I was a little bit put off by that. But they knew that I wouldn't want to play. I don't like to play when it's like a really weak team. I don't want to play like a 2100. Juicebox Wizard, what's up? I don't really want to play lower rated players, you know, in an inconsequential match. Especially if I'm black. Alright. Knight f5. Amazingly difficult to make progress here. Progress. In the name of progress. White's position very durable. He couldn't get at my pawn chain. Spinoni. The base pawns. Untouchable. Now he's thinking, what happened to a hyper bullet? Looks like one of his queenside pawns has to go. Maybe both. He sacks a piece. Yeah. Black is officially desperate. Two COVID cases at university, so there might not be real education. On Monday and Friday, so I don't know what they expected, you know, to have 0 COVID cases. They start university. I mean, is anybody under the impression that there'd be like 0 COVID cases? But I'm not sure if objectively, honestly, I'm not sure how it should be handled. But Hungary is underreporting, I think, the COVID cases in general. Like, nobody gets tested, so I'm sure we've underreported it here. There's probably a lot more people than they think. Dracofire. I mean, what's going to happen? Like, every school is going to close down after they have 2 cases? It seems ridiculous to even start. Just don't sign me up for any Russian vaccines, please. Dracofire, Hanischberger. All right, guys, let's go. 5 + 3. So you're basically saying you don't have any work to do. Well, I mean, the universities in the United States dealing with worse level of cases. Some cases they're still trying to start, but I don't know. All right, B4. This is a cool move. We've seen B3 from Dracofire. Now he's playing B4. I don't know. I played E3, Knight F6, and I'll have B4. So how do we handle this? I don't face E3 often enough to really think about what I do with black. Let's just try something random. But objectively, I guess, if I was more awake, I would probably play e5 or d5 here. I just sort of reflexively play knight f6. Basically, Polish defense reversed. It's solid. Solid for black to play like b6, e6, but white is objectively probably okay here. I'm not refuting his setup. We have problems with this knight here. Gigi Gila says the whole legal department of my job got themselves... I thought you said convicted. Well, that's better than convicted. COVIDed. Now you're working from home. They had like a party or something? Well, the next team championship season starts only next year, if you know correctly. Wow. That seems kind of weird that they could play the last rounds of the last one, but they're not going to start the new one. You know what, though? I mean, there's new restrictions from September 1st here in Hungary, so... It could have to do with that. The government has placed, like, new restrictions on the border and sort of cracked down again. So maybe there'll be no Hungarian team championship till spring next year. I haven't heard any news. Nobody tells me anything. In a small country with low COVID numbers, getting COVID, well, it's like having leprosy or something. Juicebox Wizard. Leper colony. But I don't know, it depends on... I would think in Asia they're better about stuff like this with past pandemics. In Europe, we're not really used to this stuff. So Queen B3, huh? I'm just still trying to wake up, guys. I'm just happy it's Friday. Oh, they're actually naming the people who got COVID. They're going to be swatting them. Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder if we have a different strain, because the death rate doesn't seem to be as high here as in like the United States. You've all been tested a couple days ago from your company, though. The same thing happened here in Hungary, where some companies had to like privately test people because the testing is like overly expensive for whatever reason. There are not that many lab facilities, I guess. And the state ones are kind of overloaded. And the private ones are expensive. But I guess multinational companies can get in legal trouble if they don't test their employees or whatever. There was some scandal about that here. What's up, Thomas Reinson? Thanks for joining us, guys. I mean, I don't even know if I know anyone who's been tested for COVID. It's like ridiculous. Not quite sure what to do with my queen. The classic queen c7, queen b8, queen a8. I don't get out much. We'll see what happens with the schools. My kids went back to school, and I feared the same thing that happened to Schieberspieler's college. You know, you go for a few days, and then there's like a few people that get it, and then they're gonna have to close the school. But it's sort of inevitable. I mean, with a pandemic of this proportion, how can a few people at every place not get it at least? Alright, this is an annoying position. I don't really like playing against this. Can I play e5? Going for space. There's some reservations about that. And I also don't like him playing a4, a5 on the queen side. I'm going to play this myself. Preemptively playing against a5. But white is fine here. White is not worse. My setup just isn't aggressive enough to have gained an advantage. Now I don't know if he takes it or he leaves it. Taking on a6. Like ba, bishop takes, a4. Maybe I can redeploy my knight back to b8, but I have to watch for... I was thinking this immediately, you know, but he's got e5, and I don't want his knight getting into c6. It's not a problem here. Okay, knight b8 is an interesting move. White's not really threatening anything here. My queen is very awkwardly placed. I would actually like to transfer the queen back to like e7. If rook b1, rook b8. He can also break with d4. I'm not happy with this. Yeah, I heard a strange thing about some cases, Gigi Hillis. People who had like COVID in their digestive tract or their intestinal tract, like even took tests like you're talking about, and then like came up negative. So it can even like be in a different part of your body and not be detected. If you have it in your gut, like it's possible to even have it not detected by that test. This is annoying. Rook b1 and rook b8. Having to defend b6. This is a risk I ran by playing a5. I don't like this position. I have no advantage. We do have an advantage on the clock, the proverbial clock. Yeah, the test sounds pretty nasty. You live in a small town, Thomas Tornson. I mean, I'm sure that's the case all over the world. People in cities have access to testing, but... Also, like, I heard stories in the United States where the test can... For some people, it's like $50. For others, it's like $500. It's probably the same. There can be all kinds of crazy, like, differences in the cost of getting this test or whatever. But I think here, people don't have money to spend for that kind of thing. Even $50 is a lot of money, like in Hungary. I don't know how much it costs. I heard in the range of like $100 on average, $100, $200. Pretty expensive. Over $100 at least to get a test here. I also don't like the position of my queen, Dracofire. He can actually play a5. I'm just going to be happy for the day when this game is over. This position is just tense and difficult to do anything. Not my kind of position. King f1 is a weird move, but... You like this kind of position? I've been toying with e5 for a long time, but I'm afraid it weakens my white squares. But maybe finally, like, e5 takes, knight takes. I could get my knight to b4. This is risky though. I'm weakening the white squares, particularly this diagonal, f5, e6, e4. Just making sure that bishop takes doesn't do anything. It may be a positional mistake, what I did here. You gotta keep him busy. Now he's got, oh, not that move. Knight on b4 is pretty weird. Whoa. Is this a good move? He can move fast when he wants to. I don't see like how to put him away here. Man, I missed that move. I like how he's in time pressure the whole game, and now he's like suddenly uber fast. All right, I don't know. Was e3 even a good move? Probably. I must have missed something here. Queen was hanging. What? What do you mean my queen was hanging? When? I should have played queen h2 right away. Yeah, e3 was a blunder. How long? I just had that after e4. Oh, his queen is hanging, man. Yeah, I'm not awake yet. Sorry. Sorry, Charlie. The knight on b4 never did anything. I just gave up on it. I don't know. It just ceased to exist, as far as I was concerned. Honeysburger. Alright, technically, I should be taking all the challenges, so you don't have to be a subscriber to the stream to play first. I'm just taking the challenges in order. That was a totally unconvincing game by me. I mean, really, I had nothing there. Trying to implement a little bit of Benoni with black and Dutch. My new sharper, now sharper. Now with increased sharpness. I really ought to play sharper openings. No wonder I'm not a grandmaster. Man, my coffee had no effect. It was a terrible night's sleep last night due to mosquito, invisible mosquito. I killed one, but there was another one that got me like 4 times in the night. And every like hour or so, I would wake up get bit and then spend like half an hour trying to locate the offending mosquito. Honeyschberger playing the line I played the other day with white. That's funny. Alright. We talked about this yesterday. It's like invisible. I looked everywhere. I have white walls in the room where I sleep. It should be visible. If you turn on the lights and spend half an hour looking for a mosquito. It was like a ghost mosquito. I never found it. I killed the first one, but the second one got me like 4 times, and it would just every hour or two, so it would wake you up. So 1 coffee is obviously not enough. Alright, so this we talked about yesterday. I don't think that white should play e4 in this type of structure, because the dark squares are very weak. There are some games with it. And it's playable, but I prefer to just play e3. The other move is knight d2. Just playing knight d2 here directly. A little like the London system or something. Dark squares. So you can play check and force me to play king f8, by the way. Bishop e5 check, king f8, forfeit castling. Due to the d6 pawn, I don't believe that I can interpose. Maybe I'm lying, though. In this particular position, maybe I can. Let's see. Bishop e5 check, bishop d7. And if bishop d6, bishop takes c3 check, b takes c, bishop takes b5. But I would have to take back with the queen on d7 in order to make that work. That's super weird. Anyways. Honeyschberger obviously familiar with the London system. Likes his bishop here. Dr. None. But I would have my pawn on e3 if I was playing this with white. e3 is much more solid. You have f4 under control. d4 is not a key weakness. We're going to take that now. In fact, I had a game like this against Frank Wang, 2200 player from Massachusetts. It was now that's a risky move, but maybe justified. I won the Massachusetts Championship not that long ago. No, it was the New England Open. I take it back. It was a New England Championship. September. It must have been September 2015 or something like that. 2015 seems about right. He played the same setup with e4 like Honeyschberger here. But white's okay. I don't think that white is worse. It's about equal. I still prefer e3. This recapture might be a good move for him. I guess I can play queen e7 or something of that. Something of that variety. Also b6, rook a7, the Asterbait maneuver. But objectively, I don't know. Should I be playing somehow to play f5? Is it too late for that? I'm kind of lazy. Black is a tiny bit better, maybe. Maybe. But I've played so many games like this with white, I can't even begin to count. This sort of formation. And I realize that it's not that great. The whole Smyslov system with bishop g5 against King's Indian does not offer white an advantage. But it's a question of, like, if you want to beat the King's Indian, you have to play the classical variation or something. like that. It's a question of being comfortable, you know. Sometimes it doesn't matter how objectively good your opening is. If you feel comfortable and confident in what you're playing, that's more important than objectively how good it is. This rook b1. I mean, I guess I should have played f5, but it's not possible. If I play f5, he takes and takes on f5. It's attacked 3 times. Pretty sophisticated play by Heinisberger. Okay, the fianchetto. If you want to beat the King's Indian, you mean not lose. I've played everything almost against the King's Indian. I think I've played every system except for the Averbach, which is actually a good line. But frankly, I've tried basically almost every variation. Maybe not the Saruwan variation. It's close to knight g4 working here. Schieberspieler is trying to start theoretical arguments. Can I play f5? Do I even want to play f5 if I could play f5? I'm not really qualified to talk theoretically anymore. My knowledge of the King's Indian is not up to date. But I would imagine that the fianchetto system, it's solid, but it doesn't offer white as much advantage. That's just my guess, you know, but the truth is out there. Absolutely, Schieberspieler, it's possible that white is a tiny bit better. I suppose you're right. The King's Indian just basically isn't really correct. Gives white too much space. Very solid play by Heinisberger. Man, this is... I don't know about my move here. I can't play f5. Maybe now. Can't believe he's 1663. It's ridiculous. Would I want to fix his pawn structure? I guess we win the exchange. Then it's worth it. I hate fixing his pawn structure, but what can I do? Rook Hunter. The Rook Hunter on g7. Sonar detected a rook on a1. Yeah, now he's... he's done. No, but strategically you played well. One little tactical mishap. One tiny foot-pound of energy too much. Could have happened to anybody. Queen e5. Entertaining. We all have different definitions of entertaining. Perhaps. I think I'm taking that. But the outside pawn, yeah. This is going through. Thinking about b3. First I toyed with queen takes check, but that doesn't work. But this looks game over. It should be game over. Well, I think you're describing anybody playing the King's Indian that's a competent player, Thomas Ronson. Frankly. That's the way the King's Indian is supposed to be played. It's like you don't play a passive defensive King's Indian or something like that. Here, the passive aggressive King's Indian. A new book by International Master William Pascal. The King's Indian is out of style. Hikaru plays it. He always did. Go to h5. Try for stalemate. You're out of the box. Get back in the box. I'm pre-moving. You probably f6 check. Alright. Quaz. 21-26. No, I stopped playing the King's Indian because it's hard work, you know. I mean, we're giving the white side... We're giving white a space advantage. You know, it's a good way to beat weaker players, but honestly, it's not really a great way to play against stronger players, I think. As I started playing stronger and stronger players, I became more disillusioned with playing the King's Indian. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I giving myself a disadvantage and spotting these strong players like a space advantage? Of course, it's an excellent way to try to beat weaker players. You don't see Schieberspieler playing the King's Indian. He's much too sensible for that. Wow, it's nice to get an actual theoretical Sicilian. Nobody ever lets me play mainline Sicilians around here, especially on lichess. The other day, last week, I had a tournament game where I played g6. It's garbage, but I played it. Just on the off chance that my opponent would be surprised by it, but he knew like a very simple way to play against it. So that's in the dung heap of openings. e6, queen d2. So in the old days I used to play this line. I guess it's still played. P.S. Schieberspieler, well, you know, you're young enough that you grew up in a generation post Garry Kasparov, and I think that even Kasparov stopped playing it. You know, if you go back to, well, I mean, by the time he played his match with Kramnik in 2001 or whatever it was, he had pretty much stopped playing it by then. We all realized that it just like gives white an advantage. But when I started out playing, you know, it didn't matter because I was playing weaker players. No, I mean, too much Mark Esterman might be dangerous. Might want to counterbalance that with something else, like watching this stream. Yeah. The Mora, okay, it's good for beginners. It teaches you how to play for the initiative. But when you become more advanced, I think you need to play something more correct. Strong players don't take the Mora seriously. It's like an equality for white at best. But that's the last I'm going to say on that. We're not going to dwell on it. It's okay for beginners. So f4 is main line. Now we're playing... Now this is a position where you can play h6 or no h6. I actually had this game with Hikaru years ago. My friend John Fedorovich used to play the Rouser. John played this line when we were good friends. He sort of inspired me to play this variation, but it's not a very active line really compared to some others. It's pretty solid for black. But there's some theoretical trouble here for black. There was one line where black had to sack the exchange and just sort of grovel for a draw. And I think at that point I said I'm not going to play this anymore. If that's the best black can do is like grovel for a draw in the main continuation, I don't want to play this anymore. But nobody remembers that much theory. Bishop e2, e5. What are the moves here? That's a move. God, it's been ages since I played this for black. I can't even remember the theory anymore. Actually, I don't know who this Claus is. He's pretty strong. 21 plus. It sounds like a age requirement. 21 plus. Like a club or something. So what happens if bishop takes f6? I can't remember if I mess this up. I don't like bishop f6, queen d6, bishop c3, queen d7. I may be just down a pawn there. So I guess I decided I was going to take with the g pawn. But I'm not sure if this is good or not. The answer is probably no. Yeah, of course. I like to get a theoretical expert for my opponent here. In a line that I haven't played in like 15 years. So, rook fd8, pawn takes f6, bishop f8. Rook fd8, pawn takes f6, bishop c6. That actually looks like bad because I'm giving up f6. If I take on e5, I'm opening up my king. But I don't know if I have a choice here. I think I have to. I'm beyond my theoretical knowledge at this point. Wonder if that's the right move. I mean, do I even need to play that move? I don't think we're in book. One of us made a mistake. Probably me. But what's up, Antony? I don't expect my opponents to know the rouser. Like, this is the first line, the first time I've gotten a rouser in like a month and a half, I think. So, if queen g4 check, king h8, my h7 pawn looks highly dubious. I'm really not sure, though, what to do here. My king doesn't look safe. Queen f4. I'm wondering if queen g4 check was the secret, because I mean it would make me play king h8 and then my f7 pawn might have been weak. Now I can collect that nugget. Collector of nuggets. And black is okay. Yeah, but I mean, they say that all Sicilian games are better for black, Schieberspieler. That's the classic catchphrase. Because usually white has overextended himself. This particular one, he's not overextended, but I do have the bishop pair. Maybe I ought to keep the rooks on the board. Wonder how Schieberspieler feels about that. Do you want to keep the rooks on the board? I think we don't need any rooks. You should play the Sicilian. Seriously. But some sort of calm system. Nothing crazy like an e6 Sicilian or something like that. I mean, come on, like Karpov played the Sicilian. Doesn't have to be played wildly. Knight f4, threatening tactics. Nice outpost. Black is better, but I don't know that this is winning. He's probably holding with like really good defense. Though not an easy endgame. Black has the center pawns, the two bishops. Well, I mean, something quiet, you know. Not like the Najdorf or a super sharp variation. Like an e6 based Sicilian, something like the Taimanov or Paulson Schieberspieler. Something solid, I should say solid, maybe, rather than... So what happened here? I blundered. This only happened in 2 games. So I didn't do anything wrong. Bishop d7 is main line. He takes. So I am supposed to take back with the bishop, but white actually has a plus score there. This is weird. Why don't I ever remember looking at this? It's funny, I don't remember this line. Bishop takes f6. I was afraid of queen takes d6. Wow, this doesn't work at all. Oh no. So I wasted my time thinking about bishop takes c3. But wait, that's queen d7 there. That was what I was concerned about. Even this is good for me. Yikes, because I have bishop d2 check and take here on rook d8. So that's the problem. He left book with bishop takes f6, and I took the wrong way. And now e5. I see, so I'm supposed to play d5 now. But this is sort of a sharp position. White might be better here. Robert Rowley beat him in a game published in the Boston Globe. Yeah, alright, so white left book, but I didn't remember the right path. Next game, troll on the roll. Makes me hungry thinking of things on rolls. Troll with a roll. Flip for trolls. Alright. Nice, knight on d1. We never get knight on d1. That's kind of cool. I like that. The good old knight on d1. So white actually left the book there. But I gave up playing that line. It's a little bit too passive for black. I guess we have to learn the Kojal. Somewhere I have Kojal's book on the Rouser. He did a detailed analysis. The problem is, like, Kojal was a 2600 player from Croatia. But the funny part was, like, he had the specialty variation, his main line of the Rouser. But when you look up his games, like, he lost almost all the games to, like, the strongest players he played. That's a problem, you know. This is like your main variation, but you lost every time you played it against a really strong player. I have an issue with that. The Richter Rouser for black is a variation that is kind of under a cloud. Anyway, alright, so we have chess 960. Weird position here. I'm playing the King's Indian attack. I love this. This is not a bad King's Indian. Nice. Knight on d1. It's like I played knight c3 and retreated my knight to d1. I have to try that sometime. That's a cool idea. Rubinstein. And then we can get it to e3. Take care, Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Castling, obviously. Why am I not allowed to castle? Are you serious? Because all those pieces are in the way? I should be able to jump over. Oh man, I'm never going to clear out all those pieces. I want to castle directly. I should be allowed to castle just jumping over. How am I going to get these pieces out of the way? Especially my knight on d1. Are you serious? I got to get to the other side. How did the chicken cross the road? Thanks, Tomas, for joining us. This knight is a real issue now. Damn. And I've got no knight a3. Dude, this is a disaster. No, d4 is a good move, killing my knight on d1. I don't like this, but I'm going to do it. The fianchettoed knight. I think that's a clear mistake by Troll. Because if I go for a fianchettoed knight here, the problem with the knight is that it's not really stable on c4. He can chase it away with like b5. But now it's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Though the queen side is completely closed, if Troll's goal is to like lock the game, he's managed to lock half the board now. All he needs to do is like lock the king side, and it's a draw. Once in a while you encounter players who do that on purpose, like they're trying to play like checkers or something and lock the board up. They never trade pawns and they try to literally lock everything. Please don't take my knight. Maybe I should wait a minute with that move. Troll is from Kalmykia. How are things with Kirsan lately? How is Kirsan doing now that he's out of being the world's chess dictator? I'm just kidding. He's not really from Kalmykia. Just making that up. No, I've never been to Kalmykia. I never qualified for the FIDE World Championship or anything like that, sadly. It sounds like an interesting place. Just don't really want to be a journalist there. Something like that. I'm just guessing. Troll claims he's from Nepal. Maybe we should come with the other capture. And then knight here, knight d3. Petrosian. But I mean, normally you take toward the center. I swear to God, I thought that was my queen on b1. That's so funny. You're going to make me lose my castling right? Can't believe it. My whole plan all along was to castle kingside. Now he's ruined it. He's ruined everything. This position is so blocked. Black's alright here. Black should be alright. Sadly, I've not been to Kalmykia. Not planning on going to Russia anytime soon. Though I've been twice. I think that's... My last visit was the last one for a while. Not sure it's a safe place for American passport holders to go. Bishop d6. I don't want to get like kidnapped and held for political ransom or something. I'm all set. No tournaments in Russia this decade. The last time was in Aeroflot 2004, and there was like the subway bombing, and I was afraid to leave the hotel and get on the metro in Moscow. I stayed in the hotel like the whole time. I only went outside the building a few times. It was weird. But there was that giant hotel in Moscow. Cosmos or whatever it was called. I don't remember which one. So you have been to Kalmykia. I figured. We figured that, Troll. Investigating alien sightings. For Russian troll farms. Alright, where's our old friend? Todorov. This is his favorite maneuver. Bishop h3. He was on our stream for some guest games a while back. Bulgarian Grandmaster. Good old Todor. We can fianchetto our other knight on g2. This is a weird maneuver. Fisher said in 960 what? Rook's initial position to find the edge of the board. Interesting. Where do you get this stuff from? Do I need to play bishop e6 now? Troll's getting aggressive. He's like going to play f5, I think. I'm a little concerned about that. Black is not worse here, even though I have penetrated into the black side of the board. f5. Problematic move for me. Very strong. And I don't know what to do. I might have to like give up the center here. I don't like this. Troll he has a lot of space now. Man. What if I let him take on e4? We're thinking outside the box here. Damn, there goes my structure. Go ahead, troll. Just damage my structure. He did it. He listened to me. Yes. Now at least my knight has a square to go to. That's a success in and of itself. A good square for my knight. And it's amazingly hard to attack these. Stupid pawns. Now white might be better again. We got the chess 960. Chess 960 blues. Maybe I should play c3. Doesn't really do anything. I don't know, guys. My only hope here is to maybe play f4. Black has an interesting position. Interesting position. Nice bishop on d6. But the rest of his position is quite good. Ah, that's a problem. That is a problem. I'm sad. Knight d3, pawn d3, knight b4, rook d1. Two bishops here, but black has some counterplay. How's the light? We got sunlight, the blinding sunlight. Anyone else here been to Kalmykia, the chess center of the universe? At least that phase of FIDE is over, thanks to God. He could actually take on d5. I made the move for you. That's weird. Alright. What am I going to do? Position is getting more and more out of control. Pawn takes, knight b4. Good God. Which way do I play this? I guess this way is safer. Play it safe. We have to apply maximum pressure to the e5 pawn. White is not better here. I don't think. I mean, maybe I could try something with h5. He is really tied down to that nugget on e5. But I just don't think this is enough. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, troll. Give me that. Now he's drifting. Very seriously. Can't believe it. How's the king and pawn in game? Oh no, troll. I thought maybe I can force a one king and pawn in game, but actually it's not clear at all. So you take with the bishop. You take with the bishop. I take, you take. I play bishop f4. You're forced to play rook e8. Now, it looks like I'm winning, but when I bring my king over and try to put it in the Zugzwang, he has a b5 break. If my king gets outside the square of this pawn, I'm thinking like I might not be winning here. says it's winning. Rook e5, rook e5. King c2. No, I guess I could just not take right away. He runs out of moves. Wow. It's just over. h6. g4. g5 or h5. That's sick. And then there. Not a good position. Something of a problem. But interestingly, if I were to take, it's a draw. Don't be materialistic, friends. This is an instructive draw. You know, you think, oh, it's 6-1, but black just hangs out till I get too far away, I guess. Apparently that's a mistake. Okay. Weird. King d7, king f3, king e7. I guess I have to be up here. Even this is too close. Can you play b5? Oh, I see. So you don't even need to do the b5. I can't break through. I guess if I went here, this is a draw. Although the other side could be played differently. Like if I was to take right away, I mean this would be interesting here. Let's just say hypothetically we didn't fix the kingside pawns. Like rook takes, bishop f4, rook e8, whatever. And I just like bring my king over. Let's just say for argument's sake I take this right away and play this position where the kingside pawns aren't fixed. Still no way in. There's just no way in. I didn't realize that either. But what if you played h5? h5 here. Last thing I want to check this. I'm just trying to see if this b5 break really matters. Yeah, I just don't have a way to win. Antony, listen. Antony is playing in the over-the-board tournament in Italy. He's played 4 games. He has 3.5 out of 4. Don't let it go to your head, man. The more games you win, the stronger your opponents get. And now you're facing another player who has 3 or 3.5 points. You've got to play better. I feel like you've been lucky in your games. Not to put you down, but you've been lucky. And you've played a little bit better, but you need to really bear down and use all your time. Take your time. I mean, I'm concerned that you're playing too fast in the early stage of the game, maybe. Yesterday you used your time. You saved it. You've been very resourceful. Try not to get a bad position. You seem to keep saving yourself from bad positions. And don't put yourself in that situation. Take your time. You're playing the opening. You know the openings well. So how about the Grunfeld? What do you got against the Grunfeld? The Greenfeld. Well, he plays the Fianchetto, so it is what it is. Let's pretend I'm a Grunfeld player for today. I don't know this at all. Only what I've seen in the movies. Zlatko. My friend Zlatko plays this with white, and I saw him play a lot of... Hungarian players used to play the Grunfeld all the time because of a Dorian, and it's gone out of fashion locally. When I first came to Hungary in the late 90s, like, everybody was still under the influence of a Dorian. And Leko was big, and Leko was working with the Dorian in part of his earlier career. So he was influenced. He played the Sveshnikov and the Grunfeld. But it's funny because now, it used to be like there are all these Hungarian players who are expert in Grunfeld, but now it's like not even that popular anymore. G3 system. So, yeah, I mean, Zako likes e4. I kind of think that's more dynamic. This seems like the more dynamic move, Antoni. I think you ought to investigate that. Definitely sharper. The line in question here looks like a little quieter. So, am I supposed to play c5? Can I play c5? Is there something wrong with this? Leiko looks like a stereotypical chess player. Never get married, friends. He was never the same. That seems to have happened to Rockport as well. Alright. Leiko just never came back to himself. Of course, he lost like the World Championship match. He was never really the same after that. Losing that match with Kramnik. That was so close. But speaking of Hungarian players who play the Grunfeld, huge tradition here, but it's sort of forgotten now. The Sveshnikov was the other one, because of, and also sort of forgotten. Unless you happen to be studied with the Dorian, which very few of the young players these days have. Do you know anybody who studied with the Dorian, Schieberspieler? I don't mean your generation, but like maybe like before you. I was wondering about like Banus or something, because he played the Sveshnikov. Anytime I see a Sveshnikov player, I suspect they might have some connection to a Dorian. And of course, like Horvath Tomáš. One of the first books I ever got in the openings was the Dorian and Horvath's book on the Sveshnikov. I always joke about that book because I was like a 1200 player, and it was so complex that all the variations had, like, you know, library code, Dewey Decimal System for the variations. And Tony would like it. Alright, so I'm out of book here. But I know my knight needs to get developed. Talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. Oh, man. I could take the pawn on d5, but it's grotesque, honestly. I'd rather not win a pawn than give up my bishop on g7. Raise your hand if you would play bishop takes c3, b takes c, queen takes d5. That is not, it's not worth winning that pawn. Antoni is strangely quiet here. He's usually talking a lot of trash. How materialistic are you? It's like a chess personality quiz. Would you take the pawn on d5? Schieberspieler, who loves bishops, absolutely not. Asterbate didn't even see that. Bent Larson was a big one for surprising bishop exchanges. But that's a key move in some lines of the Grunfeld. Ask Peter Swidler. Fiddler's done some good, I guess, videos. So here, again, we don't automatically have to play f6. I wonder. It's a pity to have to play f6. But queen d7 is ugly. You know, I very strongly thought about bishop g4 last move. And possible that I was supposed to play a different move. Maybe like bishop f5. Because my queen could then go to d7, but now I don't like d7 anymore. I don't really have a good square for my queen. e8 is out of the question. It looks like I have to play f6. But this is weakening. Very weakening for black. White is better, I think. I suspect white might be better here. Powerful passed pawn. I was hoping to blockade it, but not so easy. I suspect I did something wrong. But maybe it's not that bad. This is creepy. I don't like having to play f6. That doesn't seem right for black. You like the Kalmykia climate? What is the Kalmykia climate like? Guys, welcome to my stream. Don't forget, Sunday we've got the Mega Battle, 3 p.m. CEST. And on Sunday I do a simul. 2300 maximum. No Schieber-Spieler. Bishop f5. Schieber-Spieler is welcome for the team battle. Nobody over 2300 is allowed in the simul. Alright, I've lowered my rating max to 2300. I used to say 2400. Alright, Schieber, we'll see you later. Similar to Nevada, it's like a desert. So this move has a little bit of a problem. Now I'm threatening g5. He can go bishop d6. What do you want to draw? What is this? Repeating moves? You think I'm going to offer a draw? This knight on a6 is just ridiculous. Damn. I was very skeptical of that move. You know, it needs to get in the game. c7, e8, d6, b4, d3, c5. It needs to get into the game. But it's struggling. And anytime I try to play c4, it's like a welcome mat for knight d4, knight e6. That's a classic kind of Benoni thing. I mean, if you think about it, I'm basically playing the Benoni here. I just don't have a base pawn on d6. Very similar to the Benoni. White is definitely better. The sub battle is at 3 p.m. every Sunday. That's Central European time. Very good weather this week. Now Antoni's going to give me this c4 with tempo. For me, the interesting line was queen a3. Always dangerous. Bishop f8, d6. And I don't know what's going on there. I didn't like my knight on a6, now I don't like my knight on b6. Antoni's just stealing my ideas. Oh, I'm running out of time. Nice. Black's fairly active now. I think I should be okay. Let's... yeah. What? like where this is going. Good defensive move there in time pressure, knight e2. Black has the initiative now. So where did you go wrong? It's not winning for black, but I got the initiative. I liked your position here before queen b3. So in a series of like 3 or 4 moves, Antoni went from clearly better to considerably worse. This move, c4, and I thought queen a3. This is the key line. Bishop f8 and then d6. You actually have here, possibly, getting back in the game. In some lines, yeah, maybe bishop c6, rook a d1. It's a killer pass pawn. You put all your money in one basket. This pawn, though, man, very, very scary. Black has to be careful. I feel like I probably left book. Let's see. e4. So this is surprisingly a mistake to play knight b6, which is very typical in this type of structure. I'm the one that went wrong here. Because in the English, it's normally like knight b6 or knight c2, knight c7 in this case. But apparently I have to play knight f6. Did not know that. Wow. So this variation I've literally never seen. I have to play knight f6, e5, and then back to d5. Or back to d7. This is definitely kind of dicey for black. Pomniachi. Three times played by Nepomniachtchi. There's e6 type of pawn sacks. This is very usual. But I'm usually thinking of white playing like black and black like white in this type of structure. Yeah, I didn't think of knight f6. So this is a serious mistake. d5, white is better. e6. What else can I play there? There's a knight-ish game. He played bishop g4. Yeah. So Antoni did a good job. And now my best move is... Yeah, in retrospect, I thought maybe I should have played bishop f5. Knight a6 didn't seem like... Knight a6 didn't seem like good enough. This is an excellent move too. Bishop g5 best. f6. Bishop f6 is ugly. And then bishop f4. You played exactly like this guy. Gauche. Gauche. And now I improved on Al-Hassani with bishop f5. But white is better. Good game. Alright guys, we got time for some more challenges. We've got an hour left, so let's get it on. I'm warmed up now. El Rosador, only 5+3 challenges. Where's the challenge? Guys, support the stream and donate and subscribe, please. Mr. Coffee sleeping in on his day off, I think. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for the gift subs yesterday from Mr. Slow and Mr. Coffee. Just the misters. Misters are more likely to donate than other subscribers. Mr. Slowhand, 1,700. Bob Sakamano with 700. Jim with 500. We got Dracofire with 300. HTFP 250 and Warnaki with 175. Thank you guys. Okay, I'll be quite bad at this time. At this time control? We've never played 5+3. Do you mind going into a King's Indian defense? No, Tony, I've played it a lot. Lately I'm kind of in retirement, but it's fine. If you really want me to play the King's Indian, I can do that. Yeah. Antonius is expecting his opponent to play the King's Indian, I guess. G3. Real men don't play the G3. I play it all the time. Troll and roll challenge me to 5+3. No, Antoni, send out another challenge. I'm just kidding. I was making fun of Schieberspieler earlier. Not making fun of him, but disagreeing with him on the Fianchetto versus Classical Kings Indian. Where are all the peoples? Yeah, mornings have been kind of quiet here. Is my stream actually showing up in the list? I don't know, we're not getting any challenges. We've got 38 viewers, Troll, but everyone's afraid to play. That seems to be the problem. It's not that there's no peoples, they're just afraid to play. So Padre Antonio with 3.5 out of 4, good job, but you gotta... It's not enough to be lucky, dude. You gotta be good, too. He's got the acerbate luck. Nah, he's fought really hard from bad positions. That's actually my strong point, too. That's a good asset, but try not to get a bad position. Okay, d5, weird. Do we take? The classic dilemma. Take or push? Yeah, we're on. We've got 38 viewers, just no challengers. Oh man, A2's hanging. I can't believe it. I took on e5 and he has bishop takes a2. I mean, seriously? How dumb is that? It's the problem with playing not enough chess 960 and mostly normal chess. I'm just not thinking that, oh yeah, my a-pawn cannot be protected. There's a rook on a1. So obviously this is a blunder. I had to play e5. e5 is like clear advantage to white. I just thought I was getting a tempo with 93, so now it's a disaster. I have to play b3. I guess it's not that bad. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'm overreacting. The Brad with a challenge pending. Hopefully Antonio will send in a challenge and we'll get another challenge from El Rosador. And maybe some new people. You can't castle. I tried. Oh, I could castle. Damn, you're right. No, I can't castle. I need a d1 square. I need the queen to have moved out. I wanted to jump over pieces castling earlier today. Just not playing any chess in 60. But anyway, b3 is not bad. In lost positions, you play to shut down the opponent's plans. In winning positions, you must create plans. Yeah, I mean, it can be harder to play. Let's say, not winning positions. I'm winning positions, it's a matter of technique. Not so much plans. But let's say, let's tweak that and say, positions where you're better, or you have a clear advantage, that's the hardest maybe to play. There is a saying that the winning position is the hardest to play. Ask Acerbate about chess quotes. What's the chess quote about? One position is the most difficult to play. Is that it? But I think the ones where you have a clear advantage, truthfully, are the ones that are difficult to play. Because oftentimes the opponent has to make like only moves. I mean, I don't know. I can't even like begin to count how many games I've lost in positions where I have to make a choice to try to how to win a game, and my opponent is just making only moves. Probably dozens and dozens of games I've lost like that, where the opponent literally has only one move, and you're trying to find a way to win, and then you lose the game. That's very frustrating. Alright, Troll. How's your development? So this goes to what, Antoni is saying. Sometimes it's easier to be the defender. I probably play better in worse positions than in good positions. It's also possible to let up and maybe like let your sense of danger let up. Good, interesting move by... I modified good to interesting with g5 because I wasn't sure, but probably a good move from Trolley Roly. That's what they call Schieberspieler. What is that, g6, the devil's home? That's what they call g6 in Kalmykia. They call it the devil's home. b5, g5. Now what are we going to do? Yeah, my queen wouldn't mind developing. We could castle either side. No weak squares. A little bit of like a fourth rank void there for black. c5 totally weak. I mean, clearly like b5 radically weakens black's position. a5, c5. This. Troll's playing a little wild. But Padre and Antonio, you have 3 rounds left, correct? Don't get ahead of yourself. I just played in a tournament, in an IM tournament, and the one guy I lost to was a pretty strange dude. One of the guys I lost to, I should say, had an IM norm in the bag. Like, he had it totally in the bag. He was like, all he needed to do was, I think, draw his last 4 games, or just score 50% from his last 4 games. And he managed to not make it. It's pretty sick. So don't take anything for granted. d5 here. What's he doing with his king? So nobody made an IM norm in our IM tournament. But nobody deserved it. The 2 guys that won the tournament were kind of like magicians. As our teammate Buchuk said. They both of them got lucky against me. I sort of defined the winners of the tournament. If you got lucky against me, you finished at the top. If not, you were just another bottom feeder. Damn it, knight f4. Wow. I dismissed this move because I thought it would wreck his structure, but maybe it's really good. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. Knight f4 takes. I have to sacrifice my central pawn. That sucks. Damn. So that's a problem. I can castle queenside. Man, this is stupid. Now my bishop is unprotected. Hope there's not some sort of devastating mating attack or something for black that I'm missing here. The Devil's Play Yard, or whatever he called it. The Devil's Workshop. Oh no, castling kingside. Interesting. Man, how's F4 grab you? Some crazy stuff going on here. It's like totally copping out with this move. Knight takes d5. I've got nothing special anymore. I dare you to play knight takes d5. Doesn't work. Knight e4, knight e8, knight d7. What is there to think about here? He traps my rook if I try to play rook takes g5. Damn it, I could have taken on g5 now. I'm not even sure if h4 is a good move, so I'm only like a tiny bit better in the final position. It's probably not even winning. Yeah, I thought I was winning a pawn here, but I'm not. So I won't. I can't take here. So troll's okay. Just loses on time. Good fight, troll. Okay, guys, we've got 50 minutes left. Yuva, we've never played before. Oh, we have played. All right, Bolga, Antony, and El Rosador. Antony, when you play in that section you're talking about, you're playing an under 1600 section. I just know, like, mostly from playing in American Swisses. Because I haven't played... Especially regarding lower groups like that. My reference point is more like Western tournaments. Are those people, like, oftentimes playing up in the higher group? Are they allowed to play in, like, an under 2200 or under 2100 or whatever the second B tournament is? So if you're... Could you play in the B tournament? But you're not allowed because you're unrated. Oftentimes, that the stronger players from that group would be up in a higher section. It happens a lot in Western tournaments where there's like prize money tournaments. You'll play in like the under 1800 section, or you'll play in the under 2200 section. And there'll be lower groups, but especially the kids like to play up in higher sections. Technically, I don't understand what the difference would make if you're unrated. But I guess that's their policy. I don't think there's anything like against the rules. Tournament last week I played 92, but I'm disillusioned with this move. CD is considered by the cognoscenti as the better way, but I still don't know how to get an advantage here with white. Stockfish claims that white is a little bit better, but I'm still... I've had a number of simul games in this line where I really failed to get any advantage. The same can be said with knight d2. I mean, it just doesn't seem like white has a way to get an advantage against the Cambridge Springs. But honestly, if you're an unrated player, I don't understand why you're restricted in what section you can play. I would think in the US they would let you play in any section you wanted to play in. Typically. I played in open sections where there were unrated players in the top group. Oftentimes like the entry fees were higher, but they were allowed to play. Rules vary, I guess. I doubt it's like a FIDE rule or something. It's probably just at the discretion of the organizers of the tournament. Because if you went to the United States and played in like the biggest open and you said, I want to play in the open section, I think they would probably let you. Although you could really screw someone's tournament up. If you played someone who was going for like a GM norm or IM norm in the first round and they played you, thinking back on it though, wonder if that would mess their... Yeah, it would probably mess up their norm chances, playing an unrated player. This isn't really right. Black's not supposed to play knight takes c3. But you could earn a rating in any section. So that seems kind of arbitrary to me. It's funny that Irish still have their own rating system. The Hungarians gave up the rating system a long time ago. Before I even started playing here, or probably around the time when I started playing over here. Jim, thank you, man, for subscribing. 23 months for Jim. It seems like longer, so almost 2 years. Currently on a 10-month streak. Well, so you have been watching the stream for over 2 years. I lost like 5.5 rating points. Just when I said like I can't lose any more points. It's always possible to lose more. That's what happens when you drop pieces. But it wasn't too bad, at least. Any tournament where I only lose 5 rating points I now view as a success. Knight f6, knight d5. Yeah, this is slightly better for white. We're keeping him off of d5. White has a strong center. Oh, goodness. The mouse slip. Thank you for the take back, Yuval. I sort of spazzed out. Mouse slip, hand, muscular. Spaz out. Gotta get another mouse, too. It's the mouse's fault. King d1. I would even give a rated game somebody a take back for that move. Clearly that's not what I meant. With king e2 I would be a little more... I guess with king e2 we'd be a little more circumspect, but king d1 is clearly not an intentional move. You guys should definitely give take-backs for such moves. Some people are unforgiving. So the organizer expects you to get around 1350, 1400. Yeah, I think you deserve that. At least. You could even get higher. I think you should shoot for even higher, Antony. Try to get 1600. man, I think it can take on h6. I think this actually works. Positional piece sacrifice. Wait, the Brad what? You went 30-0 and you was 1300. What? What are you talking about? Is that like, what rating system are you talking about? There's discounts on subscriptions, yeah. It's September. Oh, that's ridiculous. In US Chess Federation? Dude, tell me about it, man. The US Chess Federation like steals my rating points for international tournaments. If it didn't cost like thousands of dollars, I would sue them. There's no way that that's legal. You can't rate the USCF games for games played in another country. I'm just not going to pay a lawyer like thousands of dollars to sue the USCF. But it's ridiculous. Now, bishop e7. Yeah, USCF is... The US Chess Federation is messed up, man. Totally game over with h7. Can't do a rematch. Thank you for the game. Don't play bishop takes c3, Uvob. That's not good. You've got the pin there. You need to play bishop b4. Put maximum pressure, like bishop b4, b6, bishop a6. This is a good system for black that you're playing. You just need to fine-tune it. Bulga. Ooga booga. Oh, 20 years ago. Yeah, they're changing the rules all the time in the US Chess Federation rating stuff. The fact that they steal my rating points is because Fabiano Caruana's dad pressured them to change the rules like 10 years ago. So that's not political or anything. But I'm down to like 2407 USCF. If I get down to like 2399, maybe when I get back I'll try to take out like another 2400 prize somewhere. Castles. E6. So we had this game the other day. No, it was a different position. Shit. I've never played this before. E6. I had something slightly different the other day. Maybe somebody played A4? Maybe it was A4 E6. That's what it was. Mostly I've played knight takes b5. I guess I played that against you as well. But I'm not understanding exactly what's going on here. So you're threatening knight takes d4 and then like knight e4, knight d6 check. Right. I think this is a stack, like a, what do you call it? Stock blunder by black. I got confused and I always play knight 6b5, but I forgot. I started to misremember that I was playing the game from the other day. I think e6 is just bad. The question is how bad it is. I've never played this before because I knew it was bad. I've literally played like probably 100 games in this line. So if knight e7 Knight d4, pawn d4, knight e4. Comes the question about how bad this is. Castles. Castles. I mean, I don't have a lot of choices. a6 is possible. Maybe a6 is the move, of course. So it's not that different from that other line. I have to play a6 here, and then try to break with d6. Maybe it's not that bad for black. Padron and Tony. We have, like, on the stream probably 40 games in this variation where I've played knight takes bishop. But the results are not that convincing, you know. It's very likely that it's at least equal for white. Totally playable line. Okay, next. Now what do we do? The problem is knight e4. If d5, knight d4, pawn d4, knight e2, queen b6, and I'm maybe barely holding on. I don't really have a better solution. Unfortunately, I'd like to play d6, but he has knight e4, and that's just dangerous for me. It looks like a serious problem. And I don't have time to stop this any other way other than f5, which is exceptionally risky. f5, pawn f5, I mean pawn f6, knight f6, that might not be that bad. But f5, knight d4, pawn d4, knight e2. d6 is also dubious. I don't know. I mean, this seems like the safest bet to just play d5. But white is slightly better here. He no doubt knows this because a lot of people fall for this trap or whatever. But I don't know what else I can do. Oh, maybe I should take on f3 check first and then play d5. Maybe that was a mistake. If I play knight f3 check, queen f3, d5, pawn d6, queen d6, I think that was a mistake. I should have traded knights first, but it's counterintuitive because I lose time. Now my structure is kind of broken. f6 is anti-positional, but it may be necessary at some point. Almost immediately. Possibly I should consider it right away. This move, not what I expected. That looks wrong. The first time I faced this was against this British master years ago online. Plaskett played it against me in Blitz, but the other guy, the usual suspect, Byron Jacobs, used to play it. And I had never seen allowing like knight takes b5 before. So it's like an old school British Grand Prix attack system. Bishop f8 is useful anyway. Now black is doing okay. We forced his knight to go to b2. I'm not saying that black's better, but white's position also difficult to like make progress or anything like that. I think it's sort of a stalemate now. Maybe it's like a force field. Both sides have a hard time making any progress here. On A4, I probably have to play B4 because I don't really want him to open the A file. Okay, now it's going to get a little more complicated with possible A5, knight A4. Though A5, knight A4, I just hack it off. He can actually play A5, knight A4 without sacrificing a pawn. It's not so easy for white either. Yeah, I'm not sure he should do that or not. He's got no knight A4. Just loses a pawn. My white square bishop is non-existent. Okay, what's up with C2? R2, C2. I'm going to end up losing a pawn here. End up losing a pawn. Remarkable play by white. He's like a positional genius. That's a surprising move. Queen takes. Wow. I thought he was going to open up the file. He ended up doing the file opener anyway. Maybe black has some chances still. I thought he had Queen A4. Queen A4 was like killing, going into a winning endgame. But here I have chances to survive, I guess. This was probably a mistake, though. I guess he was threatening rook takes e7. Shin is very dangerous. Yeah, that's a problem. Now he goes into the aforementioned endgame. Pretty close to lost here. Now we have one of these technical endgames. I had a similar endgame a couple weeks ago. Might be a draw. Maybe not anymore. Should be winning for me now. Nah, that was lucky. I mean, I was totally busted. Alright, Antonian Rossador. Yeah, he got me. I knew e6 was a mistake, but I just couldn't bring myself to think about it. Alright, King's Indian. Lucky to be alive. So he wanted me to play the King's Indian. I had this weird system I used to play that I had good results with, but then once I lost to Zlatko really badly. Gelfand actually played this many years ago in the 80s. There was an H6. It's a highly unusual plan. I'm not sure if it's good or not, but I had good practical results with it. This doesn't seem right though. My general advice to people is never ever retreat pieces from the from the center while there's tension. I think this is how I lost to Zlatko. And Tony must have seen the game or something. It looked pretty much like this. Something along these lines. The Brad, $1,000. $1,000. Man, I'm living in a fantasy world. 1,000 bit. Twice I had chances to win, still drawless in 3 games. Well, I mean, obviously, under no circumstances should you do anything but at least draw that position, but you were winning. So here is a game I had similar games. This was one of those traps that I usually played for in this line. The Grand Prix is underrated, but it's very popular, and I have trouble with it no matter what. No matter how many times I play against it, I keep struggling. But not just the Grand Prix, like all closed Sicilians. It's just a pet problem of mine. Luckily, like, not that many strong players play the closed Sicilian. Gawain Jones. I haven't played Gawain Jones lately. So, Bishop h3, Bishop e5, Bishop g2, Bishop g7, Bishop f1, Bishop f8, Bishop h3, Bishop h6. Damn it. That actually doesn't work because of that stupid move. Oh, right, against George Umezunawa or something. I had this game. That's what it was. It was c5. Because, like, bishop takes h3, bishop takes e5, bishop takes g2, bishop takes g7, bishop takes f1, bishop f8. Yeah, there's nothing there. So I have to play c5 first. I had this game against this master from California once. George Umezunawa. He was like an African-American master. I haven't heard of him in years. But he allowed me to do like bishop takes h3, I think. So now black's pretty good. Not winning, but picking up that bishop pair is a huge asset for black. It's enough to compensate for the backward pawn. But the Brad, thank you for the donation. 1,000 bits. 2,200 now, OTB. Yeah, I have a lot of players who face that. It's a tough system. I mean, I've been facing it for years because even back, well, I don't know, years ago, it was promoted by Roman Gigiashvili. But no matter what, I still struggle against it after all these years. Okay, so knight d5, queen play, queen, can't talk. b5, queenside counterplay, what I'm trying to say. Queen play. Acerbate. We got the rook lift. Yeah, you got it from there. Well, it's very popular, and those are old, and I'm surprised, and there's still a lot of people who play it. They can't all be getting from that source. I worked with Roman, you know. We had a divorce at one point. Personal differences. But he was very devoted to that system. He really played the Grand Prix attack. I've played like a couple offhand games with the Grand Prix attack. I never used bishop b5. But it seems very good for white. Very solid. Chances for attack. It's a good system. We have another player we play regularly here on my stream, Zen Chess, and another one, Mule Skinner. So I have like tons and tons of games in that line, and I'm still never happy with whatever I play. There's certainly no refutation of the bishop b5 or the Grand Prix attack in general. Actually, last week I had a funny game. on my pawn. Leave my pawn alone. This is a weird move. This is kind of a weird move. That's a weird move too. I thought you would take with a pawn. He's got a nice exchange sack here. He's sacking the exchange in two different ways at the same time. I don't know which rook to take first, Antony. No, that's a strong move. This is dangerous. Damn. This is dangerous. Yes. Maybe you should play it the other way. Play it again, Sam. Queen f2. I'm screwed already. Yeah, I failed to appreciate that my rook was hanging in that line. So it looks like the best I can do is maybe grovel for a draw. This is extremely dangerous. Oh, I'm just losing directly. Nice game. Wow. Good confidence builder for the tournament. Forgot my queen was attacked, But frankly, like, Bolga softened me up for this game. He did all the work, like tiring me out with the last game. You just got the easy, beating the tired player. Man, that was amazing. That's so embarrassing. Losing my queen. Nice game. So, is that the first that I've lost against Antony? I want to go to the end. Am I just busted after rook d4? This is ridiculous. I have a clear advantage here. Man. And I even saw the idea. I have a clear advantage here. I played this, and I thought he would take with the pawn. Queen takes. Now he's threatening it. And my rook on a7 is like perfect, because I can lose the rook to queen takes a7. Unbelievable. Man, and you saw those moves very, very quickly. Queen c3 is like perfect, staying on this diagonal. Apparently I'm okay here, but this is a mistake. I wouldn't know what the difference is between bishop f1. See, here you have a better move. You should go for this immediately. Damn. Crushing victory. So I'm okay here. What am I supposed to play? Very careful move that doesn't lose my queen. Such an idiot. I like... No, I didn't see knight f6 and d7. I was focused on not getting mated. So I have an exchange to give up. You're down 2 exchanges here. Just rook c7. Knight f6 check, king h8. And I actually thought about this. Weight as compensation for 2 exchanges. But he actually can't really take my rook, because then he'll seriously be worse. There's no immediate perpetual, too. That was ridiculous. Queen b8. Queen a8, maybe. This was my first thought. It's a horrible position for my queen, though. Then I was like, okay, we'll put it on b8. You don't have a perpetual, though. You know. I can play f6. I mean, that's the thing. There is no clear perpetual. After king h8, this position. But if I make a normal move here, wherever, I mean, I don't know, c7 to threaten this. Let's say you play check, king h8. I can play f6 if you do any kind of discovered check. So you're actually better off blocking the c file. And the engine thinks that black is slightly better. That's an embarrassing blunder. I was softened up by the last game. Well, queen b8, you're winning my queen. So that's not an issue. Alright, Rossador. Now Rossador wants to play after he saw me drop my queen. We gotta lose one. Once in a while. I wanted to build Antoni's confidence for his tournament today. A4. It's not Weird Openings Wednesday. Let's see what he's got. There was this guy when I was at the chess club that I started at when I was a kid. There was like mostly like 1800 players were the highest rated players in our club, and occasionally like a 1900. And very rarely was anybody there who was over 2000. It was like a big night if like a player who was over 2000 came to our chess club. And I was rated maybe like, I don't know, 15, 16, 1600, something like that, 1600 I guess, let's say. And I rarely ever got to play anyone who was 2000. And one time this guy came who was over 2000, and he wanted to play a rated game, and we would play rated games. And so I was the most promising young player at the club, so he wanted to play me, and then miraculously I beat him. You know, years later I would come to find out that he actually claimed to have lost on purpose, because he wanted to lose some rating points to help qualify his team for the U.S. Amateur Team Championship. But I believe that I really beat him, you know, and it definitely, I still don't know 100% to this day, but I suspect he lost on purpose. I mean, at the end of the day, it did wonders for my confidence, beating that guy, even if he lost on purpose, like a placebo effect. I really believed I beat a 2000 player, and I gained confidence, and I got stronger as a result of that. So, not the Boylston Chess Club. The Boylston Chess Club is a very strong club, Asterbait. This was like a little club in New Jersey. We had no players over like 2000 typically. They were very rarely coming by, so it was like the first win I ever got against a 2000 player. He actually, he actually did a service by losing, that game, building my confidence. And he qualified his team for under 2200 or whatever. Every year he would come by and like drop some rating points and help to lower the average rating of his team or whatever, but I didn't understand what was happening at the time. It seemed like a legitimate game. But I hope the same happens to you, Antoni. Your win against me today will inspire you to be confident. So, don't forget to donate your rating points at your local chess club. Yeah, I was just looking at this the other day. True story. I don't remember, but the funny thing was he didn't just like drop a piece or do something ridiculous. Like we actually played what seemed like a very close game. He could have just like come in, dropped a knight, on some stupid blunder and be like, all right, see you later. But it was a legitimate game. Somehow he found a way to lose. I think the first one was an English opening. No, I don't remember. Maybe he lost to me twice later on. But you remember the games you beat a strong player the first time. I remember my first win against a master. I actually... No, strangely, I'm not sure I remember my first win against a GM. That's odd. You'd think I would. I'm actually not sure who the first Grandmaster I ever beat was. Okay, so Queen G5 looks a little strange. You think the Sveshnikov is popular? I guess I don't play E4 enough to really judge. I'm not playing that many games with E4. Queen G5 looks suspicious. It's an active move, but the queen is outside the shelter of the pawns. That definitely isn't in the main line. Did I ever play Alexander Ivanov? He was like my chief rival. I was more of a whipping boy than a rival, but Alex did not score well against me in the last years. He had a ridiculous score in the beginning. Like when I started playing him, we're good friends. We even stayed together at some tournaments, the Brad. Once we roomed together at the World Open and we had to play each other, and I drew and he was like so pissed he wouldn't talk to me for like a day. But he's a funny guy. I have a lot of Alexander Ivanov stories. But he had a very, very strong score against me in the beginning. But it got better and better. The last time I beat him, I don't think he beat me for a long time. In the beginning it was like ridiculous, like 6-0, and then somewhere along the line I got a draw or two, and then I beat him a couple times. I beat him again at the end. I think the final score must be like, he's the Grandmaster I've probably played the most. We probably have like 3 wins, 10 losses, and 5 or 6 draws. I mean, there's a lot of games, probably. You offered him a hard candy with a good position. Yeah, I never offered him candy before. But once we had this funny game where he was in his proverbial time pressure and I was clearly better. One of the funnier incidences, which I've told the story before, but I would never ever like laugh during the game or anything like that, but there was this friend of mine who was at the tournament with me, and Ivanov has this thing where he starts to like hyperventilate when he's in time pressure, and he started doing it, and I mean, it's not really funny, but my friend walked up at the board like while that was happening, and he was like making this face like, what's happening? Is he having a heart attack or something? And when someone starts laughing and it's just like contagious, I couldn't control myself. So I started like laughing because my friend was laughing. I felt bad, but he managed to draw in time pressure. I would have felt worse if I had won. He's a great player, a funny person. You got to get to know him. We went to the movies and watched Thelma and Louise together once. Queen d8. So this didn't work out with Rosdor's queen adventure. Anyway, this is like a stock plan for white with f4. But I'm not quite sure what I can do here. Put pressure on the f5 pawn. Ironically, like bishop d3 is a move. First of all, I don't like my king here. Let's get the king off the dark square diagonal. There's nothing right away, but ultimately, that's a safer position. Black wants to maybe push this queen side. Yeah, he played a grade modern. He beat a lot of weak players with it. He would only play the modern against weak players. You knew you like graduated the Alexander School of Chess when he would stop playing the modern against you. At one point I graduated to the Sicilian. Although I didn't often play e4 against him. That was the acid test. You know, if he played the modern or not. You knew you had respect if he didn't play the modern against you. So we have takes. Check. Oh, you have that move. No. No. Tactical buzzsaw. Knight takes f5. I didn't think you had that move. Yeah, Sveshnikov. The good old Sveshnikov. Not e3. Probably shouldn't allow e3. He's not going to give up here. Alright guys, I gotta go. Thank you for the games. It was fun telling Alexander Ivanov stories. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in years. The last time we met, I beat him. It was like 2009 or 2010, 2011. I don't remember. I remember I played him in the Continental Open, and he tried to play like the old Indian against me, which was like, what are you doing? So my last was a win. Anyway, guys, we'll be back Sunday with the simul. Sunday is the 3 p.m. Mega Battle. If you'd like to join our team, play in our Mega Battle, Streamer Mega Battle. Sunday at 3 p.m. CEST, and then we've got a simul on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. CEST. So I'll see you guys there. Thanks everybody for playing. Thanks for the games. All right, then it is. Have a great weekend, guys. I'm gonna have a good day off. Bye-bye. Hey, bye-bye, guys. Have a great weekend. See you. Bye-bye.